Joining us for this edition of Truck and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. And, of course, joining me once again, former Bigfoot driver Rich Hooser. And, Rich, this field here in Bowling Green is one of the best that TNT's put together this season.
That's right, Stan. We're going to have a great show here tonight. We're going to have USA 1, your defending national champion. And now, Rod, listen, those guys' work cut out for him tonight. We got a couple of guys that could really put him away. One, just to mention, Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher. He's got a new truck this year, and he's doing great. Okay, now another one, it's a new driver, but it's not a new truck, Awesome Kong. Steve Kane is going to be driving, not Steve Dane. Now, he's a little new behind the wheel, but this truck's got awesome power, and so I think he's got a good chance at it.
All right, let's go down trackside right now and check in with TNT Motorsports' Mike Goss. Mike?
Thanks, Stan. Normally, this is the site of two of the best pulling tracks in America, but today it's side-by-side monster truck racing. This course is 270 feet long from start to finish. They've got 40 feet from the starting line to the first set of cars, which is 8 cars. And then they've got 130 feet to roll to the last set of cars, which is 12 cars. The second to last vehicle here is the finish line. I think the most critical part of the track is at 130 feet, where they'll build up a speed of around 50 miles an hour, and then they're going to hit a very steep ramp. It's going to shoot them way up in the air. Some of these trucks will be flying through the finish line in midair.
Thanks, Mike, and it's a good idea to get yourself strapped in for monster truck racing from Bowling Green, Ohio. Round 1 begins right after this. Well, there you see the hood of USA 1 on the ground.
Right, Stan. The reason for that, they got it off so they can work on the engine. What they're doing here, there's Everett Jasmer, the owner of the truck. He's changing the timing chain and the gears on the front of the engine. Now, this isn't major problems, but the thing is trying to get it fixed in time. It takes a long time to change that.
All right, Mike Goss is with a disappointed Rod Litzow down at the track.
Say your defending national champion had a lot of problems out in the pits before qualifying. He tried to make it to the line in time, but he had 5 minutes to do it and just fell short. Now, Rod, what happened to the truck out there this afternoon?
Well, we were making some adjustments on the carburetors and that, and I was making some trial runs, and in doing that, the timing chain was, it must have been time for it to go. We blew a timing chain in it, and we worked as hard as we could, and we just fell short of making the race today.
So with USA 1 out of the competition, it could be anyone's race. There you see Awesome Kong versus Mr. Twister, Wild Hair versus KRUNCH in the first round, and continuing on, Mad Dog versus Stomper, No Problem versus Black Stallion, and then Carolina Crusher going up against Dave Wyzorek in Nightlife. And coming up, it will be Awesome Kong, the fastest qualifier, driven by Steve Kane. He's out of Killeen, Texas, just 24 years old in that 88 Chevy, a very narrow truck. Now, Mr. Twister, driven by David Christensen out of Mosinee, Wisconsin, and he's 36 years of age in an 87 Ford F-350.
Stan, this run here might be a little bit lopsided here with Awesome Kong running against Mr. Twister. Mr. Twister is not very good at this as far as experience goes, but then again, Steve Kane isn't either as far as driving that truck. But with all that horsepower, as long as he can hold on, he can take the win, which he does.
And he took just a narrow lead, but he did win it. Awesome Kong, Steve Kane.
I tell you what, though, Stan, it was a close race. As you can see here, Mr. Twister's keeping right up with him in the first set of cars. But as soon as they hit that second set, Awesome Kong was gone.
Okay, Steve Kane and Awesome Kong is our first winner of the night. Now, Steve, what's the track conditions like out there?
The lane that I've been running in, it's pretty decent. This other lane I don't know about. I think the ramps are a little bit steep on the second set of cars, but other than that, the track's in pretty decent shape.
And poised and ready to go for the second race, Bob Breen in Wild Hair. He's out of Jefferson City, Missouri. He's part of the Breen Boys Racing Toys. He'll take on Scott Stevens. He's in KRUNCH out of the Woodlands, Texas, just a 28-year-old driving that 89 Chevy. It's a fiberglass cab.
As a matter of fact, Stan, it's a complete fiberglass body. Now, this saves him some weight so he can get a little bit more speed. Now, he's got this new truck and a lot of horsepower. And I'll tell you what, though, Bob Breen's got a new motor in this truck, a big block blown-injected Chevrolet. And I'll tell you what, he's doing an excellent job. A little bit of smoke coming out of KRUNCH, but I don't believe there's any problem with it.
Well, Wild Hair is the winner. That's a close one.
It is, Stan, indeed. Now, watch how both these guys almost drive the same over the first set of cars. They don't hit it real hard because they both got a lot of horsepower. They want to be on the ground before they hit that second set of cars so they can get their speed up to cross the finish line. Now, look at Wild Hair, how high he is in the air, and he takes a big bounce.
All right, let's go down to trackside. Mike Goss is standing by.
Bob Breen, you've got a new blower motor in since the last time we saw you. Looks like it's working.
Oh, it's a horse, I'm telling you. I'm getting used to driving it. I mean, it's more power than I've had in a long time.
Now, those ramps on the last set of cars, they're really shooting you up in the air, aren't they?
Yeah, they're skying us all pretty bad. They're real steepers. They come up real fast. They go all the way to the top of the cars. There's just not much you can do about it to try to hit them straight. If you don't hit them straight, you're messing up before you ever hit them.
So Bob's brother, John, now is ready to take Mad Dog down the track. And that 86 Chevy Blazer, of course, the other part of the Green Boys Racing Toys. And he's ready to go in Mad Dog. Taking on Stomper with Marvin Smith out of Arnold, Missouri, in the 1988 Chevy Silverado.
And, of course, Stomper is one of the crowd favorites at every monster truck race he goes to. And let's see if Mad Dog can put him away. Now, these guys both got great experience in side-by-side monster truck racing. Let's see what happens here. Mad Dog, he's got a little bit of problem getting to that first set of cars. And this might give Stomper an advantage. Now, he gets a lot of air there.
Uh-oh.
Stomper's got the win.
Whoa.
Mad Dog's getting a little close over here to this side.
Oh, he came close to the guardrail on our cameraman.
Yeah, might have gave him a little bit of a scare there, but John had the vehicle under control. Let's see if we can tell what happened. It looked like right at the first set of cars. Watch his back tire. When it comes down and it hits right there at the piece of that car, that's what throws him a little sideways. Now, if he's not lined up, just like his brother said earlier, you might as well forget it. And that gave Stomper the win.
Well, I'm sure our cameraman down there was wondering about John Brain in Mad Dog if he was heading towards him, but he did manage to swerve away, just missed that guardrail, and travel on, and Stomper took that win. Now, it's Mike Vaughters out of Hagerstown, Maryland. He's just 24 years old. He's got a beautiful truck. Black Stallion is the name. A lot of black and a lot of chrome. He's going up against John Moore out of Lafayette, Tennessee, in no problem. Beautiful 1989 Ford Bronco.
Both beautiful trucks. Now, one thing I might mention here, Black Stallion is a little bit new to this race, and he does most of the exhibition shows. And John Moore from last year has improved so much, it's unbelievable. I was impressed when I seen this truck. And look at it run right there. Look at the air he's got to take the win. I tell you what, Black Stallion did a great job.
Good run and a good win for no problem as we take an ISO look at it.
As you can see, a good look at John inside the cab there. As you can see, now these guys bounce around a little bit, but he takes it pretty easy over that first set of cars now. He's got a new engine in there. It's an old Bigfoot motor, and it's running pretty good.
Let's go down trackside with Mike Goff.
John Moore, what was that ride like?
It's pretty awesome. That last set of cars is a big rocket ram.
What's your driving style out here?
Looking to survive this week.
They're all trying to survive. And here's a guy who survives by driving with his head out the door, Dave Wyzorek. He's out of Grand Island, Nebraska, just 27 years old, and that Nightlife 87 Chevy Stepside. He's going to take on Carolina Crusher Gary Porter out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, just 1 year younger, around 26 years old, in an 89 Chevy.
And one thing here, we got a long wheelbase against a short wheelbase, and let's see if there's going to be an advantage here. They both hit the cars side by side. They both taking it easy. Everybody's hitting it nice and easy over the first set, but the second set, look at that gap. Oh, that was close, but I believe it's Carolina Crusher is the winner.
It looks like it. We can tell on the ISO of Carolina Crusher.
As you see it, it's a good close-up shot. Beautiful truck. He comes across nice and easy, and here's where these guys are kicking in their horsepower right here. They got a lot of time, like everybody's talking about them ramps. But look at Nightlife, how close he closes the gap. Close run.
Well, the monster truck tires have literally broken in the track from round one, and the crowd is ready to go for round two, when Trucks and Tractor Power continues in a moment. Welcome back to Bowling Green and the Wood County Fairgrounds. Ready for second round action. It will be Awesome Kong taking on Wild Hare, and then Stomper against the third fast loser, Mr. Twister. And moving on, Nightlife against Carolina Crusher. Once again, another pairing for them. No problem taking on KRUNCH, the second fast loser. And ready to go, it's Awesome Kong in that 44-inch wide body. It's Steve Kane. He's out of Killeen, Texas, taking on Wild Hare, Bob Breen.
Now, these guys here together, this ought to be a fantastic race here. Now, Steve Kane doesn't have the experience of driving like Bob Breen does, but he's got just as much horsepower. Now, let's see what's going to happen. They're both in between the second two sets of cars with tremendous horsepower. Look at this. You see something came out from underneath Wild Hare. He took the wind coming from behind. Let's see if we can tell what happened. Over the first set of cars, neither one of them had a problem at all. They were just perfectly landing. Now, let's see if we can tell what happens here. Watch real close underneath the truck. Watching, you'll see a spark come out from the front end right there. Okay, that's where he lost the front drive shaft, but he did end up taking the win. As you can see, parts are flying out from underneath the vehicle over towards the fence.
Unbelievable win for Wild Hare as he dropped part of the drive shaft as they're picking it up. Let's go down to Mike Goss.
Bob, lots of parts came out from underneath the truck. What happened? Well, when I
come down, I think my front stabilizer stopped. Just give out on me, bloated out, and it knocked the front input shaft off my transfer case. Blowed the drive shaft and all the loops out of it. Okay, as Wild Hair gets towed back to the pits, he is out of competition tonight with that break. But he did beat Awesome Kong, but Awesome Kong will be taking his place in the semifinals.
Well, with all the bouncing and pounding these vehicles take, this illustrates how important the suspension is for these monster trucks. Rich Hooser explains the various types.
One of the most important features of a monster truck is the suspension. And a part of that suspension is part of the axle tip. And a lot of these guys will run planetary gears on them. And what this is a gear reduction. It lowers the gear ratio. It's not quite as fast as without planetaries, but it is a lot stronger, which then you have less chance of breaking an axle. Another thing is the springs. Now, some guys will run coil springs, but most of them will run leaf springs. The length and the number of springs has a lot to do with how much the truck weighs. And, of course, you want to get as much travel out of the springs as you possibly can.
Well, ready to go, Marvin Smith, the guy who used to run top eliminator drag cars in Stomper, too. And a guy who has his work cut out for him, only 3 years of experience. Mr. Twister, driven by David Christensen.
Yes, of course, Mr. Twister, with all that only 3 years of experience, he's going up against Stomper, one of the crowd favorites. And he's a veteran at this sport. He's been doing this for quite a while. And he's got a great jump on him there. He had a little problem in the first set of cars, but he nails it right there. He just comes across with Mr. Twister with a little bit of a problem there. And his suspension wasn't working too good on that. He was bouncing a little too much.
Let's take a close look here at an ISO of Stomper.
Okay, let's see what happens on his run here. Right after that first set, he gets a little bit sideways here. He lets off, but he's still got plenty of time. But look at this. Mr. Twister just catches up from behind. A close run, but Stomper takes the win.
Marvin, they just announced the results of that race. 3/100ths of a second for the win.
That's making it close, isn't it?
Yeah.
When I came out of the hole that time, I had a little problem. It popped on me, and then I had to really get after it. I came off the car as I got sideways, so I just powered out of it and tried to keep it straight, and I landed pretty good, apparently.
Well, Rich, next up, it's Night Live from Carolina Crusher. They ran in the first round. Now they see each other again in the second round. What might they do a little bit differently?
Well, I'll tell you what, Carolina Crusher did beat him in the first round, but not by a whole lot. Now, he's got that extra long wheelbase Carolina Crusher does against the short wheelbase of Night Life. But then again, is that what made him win? It's hard to say. They're both in the same lane they were. Now, Weisdorf, he lost that, and he's going to come out a lot harder on his run, which he does. Now, he gets a little bit of a lead, but Carolina Crusher takes it easy over the first set, and his horsepower just takes off. Now, Weisdorf had some problems there in between the cars. But Carolina Crusher has a nice, easy run over this first set. He's a little behind, but that's one way that he drives. He's real consistent at this, and this is where the race is won, is at the second set of cars. Now, Weisdorf has his problems, as you can see. Carolina Crusher takes the win.
Good win for Carolina Crusher, and here's a guy that's hoping for good things out of his truck. Brand new truck, John Moore, and no problem. And he's teamed up against King Crunch, driven by a man who started racing motorcycles at age 10, Scott Stevens.
And one thing we're going to see here, Stan, is a different style of driving between these two guys. No problem. You can see right there, he come out real hard, and that's what he had to do. Now, Scott Stevens, he takes it nice and easy over the first set and just takes all that horsepower to try to catch. And it looks like he might have taken the win on that. He did. King Crunch takes the win.
That was a close one,
It was real close. Let's see if we can tell exactly what happened. Now watch, you see all the dust, there's no problem, just a tremendous hole shot, and he's actually ahead of King Crunch here. But as soon as they get in between the cars, this is where Crunch just pours on all that horsepower, and he's got a fiberglass body, less weight, and watch, right there, he just clears the cars to take the win.
Scott Stevens, your first night of racing with your new truck, you've got to be tickled to death to be in the semis.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. We just worked so hard for 6 months on this one truck, and everybody at home, you know, we wanted to win this year, and last year we thought we could do it, and our program just didn't work last year, and we put everything into this one truck this year, and we're just happy as can be. It's working so great.
Well, we'll see how well it works for him in the semifinals. So keep your seatbelts fastened. It's time for the Final Four when Trucks and Tractor Power returns after this. Welcome back to Bowling Green, Ohio. Stan Rhodes and Rich Hooser here as we get set for the semi-final round. It will be Steve Kane driving Awesome Kong, and that's because Wild Hair suffered a mechanical failure in round 2. So Awesome Kong taking on Marvin Smith in Stomper. And the other part of the bracket, Carolina Crusher, driven by Gary Porter, taking on Scott Stevens' King Crunch. So we're ready to go for the semifinals, beginning with Awesome Kong, Steve Kane piloting that 44-inch wide vehicle.
And he had to work hard to get here, Stan. He started off at the beginning, and he's just been running faster and faster as he goes along. He's got to work hard. Now he's going up against Stomper here.
This is a guy that started building monster trucks back in 1984, so he's got a lot of experience.
Yes, he does. As a matter of fact, he's been driving Stomper for quite a while. He used to have a different truck before this, but he's still doing excellent with this truck. This is going to be a good race. Now, Awesome Kong's got a little bit more horsepower, but I think Stomper's got a little bit more expertise behind the wheel. Let's see what happens. Great hole shot by Awesome Kong. He just takes over a tremendous lead. Now, it looks like Stomper's having a bit of problems there after that first set of cars, but Awesome Kong will advance to the finals.
Well, due to the bad luck for Wild Hair, Awesome Kong's in a good spot.
Yes, he is indeed. Now, he got here because of that, and he just showed what that truck can do in this run right here against Stomper. He knew he had to run hard because Stomper's a good running truck. As you see right here, that second set of cars, that's where the race has been won all night.
Steve, a little luck. You came back as a fast loser. Now you're going to the finals. Can you win this thing?
I believe I can. By all rights, I feel that I got the fastest truck. But there's always somebody out there that can beat you. You know, you just got to have the idea that you can go out there and win.
Well, Rich, Scott Stevens, driver at KRUNCH, was talking earlier about all the problems they had with the truck last year, and now they've got a brand new truck.
Yeah, that's right, Stan. I think he's learned a lot from his old truck. Now, since he's built this, he's been running real good this whole night here. This is his first run out, and I think he's going to have a good chance of winning this.
Now, on the other hand, you got Gary Porter, and he's been very consistent in Carolina Crusher.
That's right, he has. Last year, he ran real good, real smooth. But this year, he's having a little bit of problems with this new truck. But that long wheelbase, I think, is a little bit advantage. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, they both start off real good. Crunch runs just like he always does, a little bit slower the first step, but he's having problems with his engine. Carolina just takes a nice, easy pass to take the win. He will advance to the finals.
Well, Crunch looks like a steam engine.
Yeah, he looks like he had a little bit of a problem right after the first set of cars. Watch it, you'll see right there. All of a sudden, the smoke starts coming out the exhaust on the left-hand side. Of course, you can tell his engine is in the rear of that vehicle, and this gives Carolina Crusher a good chance to take the win right there across the finish line with a flying lead.
Gary, you're going to the finals against Awesome Kong. What are you going to do to beat him?
Well, this is where I wanted to be. I'm just going to have to run this as hard as I can because I think he'll probably take the left lane. It'll put me in the right lane. I haven't run in the night. I've been watching everybody run it. I'm just going to have to try to, keep a cool head and run the truck as hard as I can.
How rough is the track?
The track seems to be getting rougher and rougher in that left lane every pass.
Okay, it's the final round, and that's usually what happens. That track does start to go away on you. Them cars get smashed down, and it gets a little bit rougher. Now, Carolina Crusher, he's going to be in a lane that he hasn't run in before. This is going to be a disadvantage to him and an advantage to Awesome Kong.
Well, there you see him, Awesome Kong, being driven by Steve Kane. Now, he was the fastest qualifier, but lost in the second round, and is here because of Wild Hair's mechanical failure. Now, Rich, you've run against both of these drivers.
Yeah, I have, and if I was going to race against either one of them, or if I was going to say who's going to win this, it's hard to say, really. They're both excellent drivers, but I think Awesome Kong has a little bit more horsepower than Carolina Crusher does right now. But Carolina Crusher, driven by Gary Porter, got a little bit more experience, so let's see what happens. It could be anybody's race here. Okay, Awesome Kong has just a little bit of a lead over Porter. Now, look like Porter got a little crossed up on that first set of cars, and Awesome Kong will take the win.
Not bad for Steve Kane. He's only been driving for a year and a half.
Excellent driving he's doing, too, Stan. Now, Carolina Crusher had a little problem right there with that first set of cars. He got a little sideways, and he had to let off the gas to get lined up for that second set. Now, Awesome Kong, before he hit that second set of cars, he was at full throttle to take the win. Now, of course, since Awesome Kong put Carolina Crusher in that other lane, that gave him the win.
All right, let's go down to Mike Gott.
Okay, Awesome Kong defeats Carolina Crusher here in Bowling Green, Ohio. First, Carolina Crusher. Gary, that wasn't the lane you wanted to run in. The first set of cars really got you crooked.
Hey, dude, that was the first time I had ran the right lane tonight, and I got crooked coming off the first set of cars, and I think I lost the race right in there. I had to backpedal it, and I didn't get lined up straight for the second set of cars and didn't hit them full speed. But Awesome Kong, I have nothing to say. When you run second against him, he's still doing good.
Okay, your winner is Steve Kane. Now, Steve, you guys have had a lot of problems lately with Awesome Kong. What kind of things did you have to do to get her ready to go?
Yeah, we had problems with our transfer case, and when we got a new Profab transfer case built for us and some new dry shafts and things like that, it really seems to be working now.
Now, you haven't had a lot of time behind the wheel of this truck. Do you think you can, are you learning something? Are you getting better at it?
Well, I learn something every time I get in that truck. It's kind of hard to follow in the footsteps like Steve Dang when he drove that truck for so long, and he done it real good. But I think I can do pretty good.
Well, congratulations once again to our winner, Steve Kane, and his monster truck, Awesome Kong. For Rich Hoosier, Mike Goss, I'm Stan Rhodes. Join us next week for Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network.